guys are looking lovely. I tell
You
you.
are as well. You are as well.
Oh, thanks. Anyway, Lio
Absolutely.
didn't think so, but who cares what Lio
Oh
did?
wow! Oh, you didn't even allow me speak. You're looking amazing. Your hair is looking burgundy.
Yeah, yeah.
Legacy, yeah.
I love the hair. I love the
Trying
hair.
to match it. But I
Hmm.
love the color. Lio picks these colors for everybody to know.
Oh
And
wow!
if she doesn't have the color, we dare not wear it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
pretty
In
much.
charge.
Yeah.
So
Pretty much.
that's what we have to put up with. Anyway, hello everybody. You're welcome to another exciting edition of Trend.
Trend.
Roti, please. What are we talking about today? I hope it's exciting.
It is exciting. As you know, all the topics are always very, very exciting. Today, we'll be talking about stigmatization, which is a very, very huge topic, wide, deep, large, but let's get into it.
But let's get into it. So let's get into it. So
Before
today,
we get
oh, I was just like, all right.
before we get into it, I don't know, somehow Fola always tries to just yank me in the corner. But anyway, I'll save that for later. Before we get into the discussion, I just want to say thank you to all our listeners, our sharers, our followers, those who are thinking about watching us, um, haters, losers, everybody.
Just love us.
Haters, losers. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please continue to share. We value your opinion because it helps us better the show and it helps us discuss some burning issues that people have in mind. So thank you very much. Well, I'll go ahead now.
Yes, madam. Laya is in charge. I told you so. She calls the shots. All right. So today, as Ronti has said, we're talking about Sigma. Oh God, now I'm going to get
I'm going to
stigmatized.
stigmatize you for that.
I trust Laya will do that. So we're talking about stigmatization. That is where people tag people or label people just because of certain things. Maybe things they have as a disease or things they have done or things that have happened to them. So you just tag them, and this tagging usually is for the negative reasons. It's not
Yeah.
usually for positive reasons. And we want to talk about how it affects people and how people can get help with it. Hmm. So first of all, what is stigmatization? How do we start? I've just said what it is though. So maybe who wants to go first and talk about?
For me, in one simple sentence, for me is stigma is just discrimination.
Yeah.
That's just one simple sentence from
Mm,
me.
mm.
Discrimination.
That's
Discriminating
it.
people in different aspects.
So
Yeah.
discriminating against people for what reasons?
All reasons, all aspects of it. Just like I've said before, is wide, is deep, is
Mhm.
high, is everything for different reasons.
Like
People
religion.
can look at us twin and
Aha,
they say, yes, people can discriminate you for your race. The three types of, anyway, we'll go into that
They
later. Yeah.
discriminate you for your religion,
yeah, that's very correct, Layo.
for your culture, your sexuality, your gender, your characteristics,
Your tribe, your race.
your tribe, your health conditions, your disability, your mental health issues as well, or things, social stigma, things that happen to you. Anything they can be
People get
stigmatized
stigmatized for their profession as well.
for.
Do you know? Have you ever
Yeah.
heard of when we were growing up in Nigeria? We used to believe that nurses are a kind of people. You know, like okay, if you're a nurse, you must be having an affair with the doctor at work. If you are a secretary, you must be having an affair with your boss. Yeah, that's stigma.
Yeah.
And if
That's
you are a
Yeah.
stereotyping
performing
people.
artist, a dramatist, an actor, oh, you
You
must be
must
sleeping
be having
around for your
sex
room.
with your
Okay.
honestly. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, you're right.
that is so wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, that is
It's just stereotyping people, really.
exactly.
Mm.
And for the
To say
negative
something.
reasons. But my problem is why I really appreciate why we're talking about this topic today is I heard one of these presenters on Your View said she was stigmatized, like even amongst a learned colleague that because she had COVID, then she
Mhm.
just felt that mm,
Coldness.
yeah, coldness, like And I was like, really? Why do we even want to stigmatize people when sometimes these things happen to people not because of their own making, but because
Yeah.
of things beyond them. So how would you go about being if you're stigmatized for your health reasons? Or Roti, you're saying something about having different types of stigmatization.
Yes. There are the ones I know, three types of stigmatization that I know. First of all, is mental health. People really discriminate the people with mental health.
Hmm.
And just like you rightly said, Fula, sometimes they can't help it. I know some of mental health can be for reasons of drugs and things like that, or some depression. You just don't, want to put yourself into depression or things like that, or bipolar, things like that. But people get discriminated for that. And I think, to be honest, it's not very nice at all. Discrimination has caused a lot of people, to commit suicide, to do a lot of harm to themselves. The second one is physical stigma, which could be because of your disability. You could be on a wheelchair. You might, like physical disability generally. People discriminate you for that, which I'm thinking, why? Some people are born blind. What do they do? What do they do? Some people are born crippled. What do they do? It's not their fault. They can't help it. So, leave them alone. And the other third one is just like what Layo mentioned before, your race, your gender, your culture, your religion, and all things like that. People discriminate you for that. So those are the three types I just want to just mention.
All right, Layo, you just said that people get stigmatized for different reasons, race, culture. Well, how would you describe being stigmatized for something that you couldn't control, like rape? Why would anybody want to discriminate or stigmatize somebody that was raped?
um, I'm going to use my own personal experience, but I'll talk on that one first.
Okay.
To be honest, is people's understanding of the situation that makes them to stigmatize people. For example, the news may carry information about rape victims or carry information, negative information or they might have heard negative experiences of others to do with rape, and they formed their own decision that they begin to look at rape victims in a funny way, forgetting that these people were actually assaulted. It had nothing to do with them. So they begin to define their life, the lives of these people, by the things they know about them. So my own personal experience was, there was a particular lady. Every time I saw this lady, she spoke about somebody who's dealing with cancer or somebody who's died from cancer, because she knew I had cancer back in 2010. It was constant. Every time I saw her, she must talk about cancer. Every time I saw her, she would tell me, oh, please, I'm feeling a pain in my breast. What do you think I should do? And it took me years to really think, what the heck is wrong with this lady? And knowing me, yeah, I've controlled myself a lot. In the past, I would have lashed out and told her off right there and then. I sent her a gentle email because I didn't have a message on Facebook because I didn't have her number. And I said, look, young lady, the next time I see you and you talk about cancer, I'm going to really have a go at you. I said, don't try and form your own decision, or don't try and put stigma on me because you knew what I've gone through in the past. I mean, what's wrong with you? I said, don't try and shape me from those images or from those challenges I've been through in the future. And unfortunately, this is what adds to people's mental health issues, because people know of the issues you've been through and begin to look at you through their narrow lens on that situation.
Mm-hmm.
To mess your mental state up by the words that come out of their mouth. I think that I'm a strong person and I don't allow words to damage me because I've been through a lot of hell and back, and words cannot really do anything, to be honest. But those are the kind of things that we're talking about that destroys people, because you don't know what that person has been through. You have not worn their shoes. But based on the information you have picked around from other people, from yourself, from the media, from wherever, you have concluded and formed this decision that, okay, this person, this is how they should be like, or this person, this is what I need to be telling them all the time I see them. So it's really disgusting. People need to educate themselves, to be honest. Yeah.
All right, you know what I'm going to say? I think I have had some experience of stigmatization myself. You know, my own is the issue of not having a child yet. I use the word yet because I know
Yeah.
it's not over until it is over.
You got
That's
that
Now,
true,
right.
baby.
you
That's
know
true.
how you will be in church. Now, you're not described as, some people don't even call you by your name anymore. They call you by, don't you know that lady that has not had a child? Or don't you know that lady that had cancer? That is
Mhm.
your name now. So
Right.
that is the big stigma.
Right.
You know, or the worst one is, okay, maybe you are in church where they are praying now. They say they want to pray for people that are believing God for a child.
They'll be
I had
looking
the
at you.
experience of, you know, she meant well. I didn't take it too personal, but I was just like, God, take this stigma away. And all she
Mhm.
could think about when they said, now we're going to pray for people believing God for a child. And at that point, to be honest, I didn't feel like standing up and going for that prayer, because at that point, I want to take off that stigma off me. I don't want to see myself like that anymore. But this
Yeah.
is one woman. She's elderly, nice meaning, no, she meant well, but she just kept running, looking around. Shade, Fola, Shade, where are you? Fola, Shade, come, come, come. So I was more embarrassed by
Yeah.
her action than I was by
Yeah.
the situation that I was in. So that was
Yeah.
the kind of stigma that didn't go well with me. Sometimes, do you think people stigmatize you without any intention of stigmatizing you? And you just like come at the end of the day, you feel bad and you don't know how to tell them. Ronti, how can you tell somebody? I like the way you dealt with a liar. You sent her an email. How else can you deal with somebody that is stigmatizing you and you don't want to be stigmatized, to be put in that box anymore? How else can you deal with it?
You know, this might sound funny, but it's just like what both of you have said. Um, it has happened to me before when, you know, because I tell people a lot that, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight and
Hmm.
things like that. And I just become the topic at work. I'm like, oh, do you know you have this thing? You know, then I one day I just said to them, I said, you know what? I am not too big to carry myself, as you all know, as you all can see. I said, and when they call Jack, I'm always there before every one of you who are even slimmer. You know,
Mhm.
I just made it as a joke, but I was hitting my point at them, like, you know, I really bang at them. And they all said, oh, wait. I said, look, I'm not meaning it anyway. I'm just saying to you that I can carry myself, I can carry my legs. None of you have ever carried me before. So please, would you just stop telling me about different types of diet? I'm doing it myself, as you all know. And I'm not in a hurry to lose the weight. It is just a gradual process. So what I'm going to tell people is sometimes they say it to your face to the point that you get frustrated and just want to hit somebody. You know, sometimes people just need to back off and give you your space and don't even tell you about it. It's in your body, you know. Just for example, if I can't walk or, you know, I've got a disability and people keep hammering and hammering on me, you know, it will get to a point where I'm just going to say, you know what, enough is enough. You know, there's a limit to everybody's endurance. It's going to get to a point where, I mean, Laya can just, I mean, thank God for her life that she had sent an email. Thank God for you just have to calm down about it. I was going to just tell you a short story about this young boy who is COVID said like bullying stroke stigma. You know, he's a very, very big, and when I mean big, he's a large boy, you know, and his parents know that's why they ask him to always walk to school and everything. But his friends kept hammering this thing, you need to lose weight, you're too big, you can't even pick the ball, you can't do this, you can't do that. And this has been going on for years. So the only person he kind of have the trust to talk to you personally, it's not he can talk to his parent, but the only person that was closer to his life was his younger sister. So he just said to her, I said, look, I'm just had enough of people just telling me about me being big and things like that. It's my life, and I know I'm not happy about it, but I know someday, you know, I'm gonna get, you know, the weight off. And he got to a point where one day he came back from school, he couldn't handle it anymore. He wrote a note down and put it under his sister's pillow and hung himself just behind their house in
Hmm.
their own garden. And that was it. So people just need to, you know, he's a young boy, he's only 12. He couldn't take it. He couldn't
So
take it. It
that
was just
story is very, very, very pathetic, and people really don't know what extent their stigma is causing somebody. And look
Yeah.
at that child or that man or that young person has gone to take his life just because of the stigma. And for all you care, the people stigmatizing him did not mean for him, did not mean it for bad. But
yes.
stigma is a stigma, and it's really, really, it could be negative, it could come
Hmm.
across as negative. Liar. So how do we deal with stigma when somebody's stigmatizing you? Besides telling them, how else can you deal with it?
I think first and foremost is you yourself as the individual. You need to come to that understanding that you have been through whatever it is you've been through, and you have made the decision to move on with your life regardless of what people may say. Have you heard the word sticks and stones may break my bones? And words can, so I've forgotten how it goes, but you have come to that understanding that people will throw words at you, but you can't allow those words to crush you or destroy you. Once you, the victim or the individual, have come to that understanding, then it's easy for you to proceed, which means when people talk, it flies across your head and it drops down to the other side. When people talk, you actually have the boldness to speak. That lady, the only thing that saved her, I know you ladies know me well, the only thing that saved her, and those who know you will tell the same thing, the only thing that saved her is because I didn't have a number. If I had a number, oh my gosh, I would have told her a story about her entire life. She'll be disgusted. Because I know something too about her that if I tell her, in fact, she will hate herself. So it's to understand your situation and be bright, be intense, or have the intention to be bold about it regardless. And then be able to stand and fight your corner. That's also very important. And I think one of the main important one is to educate people about it. For example, if you have mental health issues, and there's a stigma about mental health issues, rather than hiding under the bed or hiding away, or when you have your trigger points, you disappear into the ocean, educate the people around you, educate your family, your friends, so they understand that actually mental health is not a bad thing, it's a normal thing for people who cannot manage a lot of information in their head. And when I go away from you, or when I don't talk to you, I'm at my low point. This and this and these are the things you need to do. So educating people around you on what you've been through helps as well, helps erase the stigma. Having said that, you have the stupid ones, regardless of how much education and beating and bruising you give them, they have stuck on stupid, basically. Their mindset is, that they just can't get away from it.
I like the part where you said educate people. Yeah, that's really cool. And that's what this program is aiming to do, to educate people about certain things, because some people just have no clue. They cannot draw the line between stigmatization and trying to talk about the issue. Yeah. Like that lady coming to meet you every time. So anytime she sees you, she sees this particular thing, which is wrong. That's not what you are about. So education. I hope somebody's learning today that these things come across as stigma. And another way I think you could deal with it, to be honest, is like don't take it personal. Like that's how I dealt with this woman that was going to stigmatize me. Sometimes it's okay to speak out for yourself. Sometimes it's okay to just ignore, because some people, no matter, especially those that are doing it deliberately, no matter how much you try to educate them, no matter how much you try to speak for yourself and defend yourself, they just want to annoy you. Such people, I said, don't take it personal. Don't even give them the audience to hear your voice. You can walk away from them, because of the truth, they are just rubbish. And you don't.
Fola, sorry to cut
wait,
you.
let me land. I know you're going to come against me.
No, I want to ask you a question, to be honest. Well, carry on. I'll ask you when you've finished.
No, go on. Maybe to answer.
So what I wanted to say is everybody is different. Some people are weak. Yeah. How are they supposed to not take it personal? Because they've struggled all their life with this thing, and they don't know how to deal with it. And people are always reminding them or always passing comments. How do they not take it personal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I cannot blame those that take it personal.
Right.
For some time in your life, you need to stand up and speak or get upset. You are in your right to express how you feel, to be honest. But sometimes the people that set out to annoy you, when you get annoyed and try to speak and try to become defensive, then you are feeding their ego. You are making them happy. You could just tell. If it's somebody that has no clue, that needs some education, spend time to talk about it. But if it's somebody that's trying to annoy you, you don't. There's a saying that somebody used to tell me. They said, the person speaking negatively about somebody, it tells more about that person than the person they're talking about. If I call you names, I stigmatize you, it tells more about myself, that I'm just rubbish. I have
you're clueless.
Yeah, for me to. So it's not about you. So such times, it's okay to walk away and leave them and let them be foolish. Ronti, what other way can we deal with it?
Personally, I think both of you have said something nice, but one thing we need to understand is stigma has got degree, and that's the truth. For the both of you, kudos to both of you for, trying to like ignore them and do things like that. Yeah, I just told you a story of a young boy. He's only 11 or 12. How do you think it's just like constantly people making fun of you? There are lots of issues. I can go on and give you a lot of examples of people being stigmatized, and at the end of the day, they didn't find it funny at all. But me personally, if you've been stigmatized in any way, shape, or form, I think you need to speak out, speak to people. It's just like when you've been abused and you're keeping quiet and you've seen your abuser, you keep quiet or you go and hide. You're not doing yourself any favor. You need to speak out. You need to talk to somebody about it. But if the person, stigmatizing you has to be called out and spoken to, then we have to do that. But don't keep it to yourself. Somebody was being made fun of. She's got bipolar, and bipolar is kind of a mood swing, and when things happen, you just have to know how to speak to her. It's just one single thing that will just trigger it, and it becomes something very huge. And that day, unfortunately, the person didn't meet her on the good side, just said something, and before we knew it, went into her bedroom and started slashing her wrist and cutting herself. So, like I said, it has a degree of a lot of things. So people just need to be very mindful of how you speak to people, and know that some of your words can not all what you say to people are positive. A lot of them can be negative, and you might be killing people, not just hurting them. You might be killing them silently. So be
Yeah, that
careful
takes
what you
me
say to
that takes
people.
me to the effect stigmatization has on people. To be honest, you've just
Mm.
gone into it right away. And besides affecting the person, emotions and making them angry, it could also affect them mentally. They become, like you said, withdrawn. You should be able to look at yourself. I'm saying that you can walk away. That does not apply to everybody. What you
Yeah.
have said does not apply to everybody. So we have different strengths and different capability. Just look for the best way for you, the best option. But whatever it is, I wouldn't want you to stand up and get verbal with the person that is trying to stigmatize you, because I still feel you, except you want to stand in the position of educating them, not getting annoyed. Don't let them see you get annoyed. Let them stand in the position of educating them, making them know that they are being foolish.
Um, Excuse me. Um, Everybody is different. There's no way if people keep stigmatized like me. I'm sorry, I will get annoyed and I will educate you at the same time. I can't pretend and say, okay, you should. I'll tell you that, listen, babe, next time you talk to me like that, I'll tell you off, don't be stupid. And I will explain to you that just because I've had cancer does not mean every time you see me, you have to remind me or tell me. I know what I've been through. And I will tell her that perhaps you need to understand what people are going through before you keep opening your mind and having flashback or having reminders of people that have been through that every time you see me. Hello? So I mean,
Yeah, I get that, Lyle. Like I said, it's up to you. Find whichever is convenient. That's how we are treating everything. But whatever it is, like Lyle Ronti said, get help. If you feel you are
yeah,
bold enough and you can stand and tell the person off and not get emotionally troubled afterwards, but some people will still go home and cry. That is the
Yeah.
personality. That's why. When I say don't take it personal. That's what I don't want for you
yeah,
to feel it. So let it cause you
Mm.
any more damage than it is causing you already. If you can
Mm.
stand up and speak for yourself and face it head on, fine, good for you. Somebody like you, that's good for you. But yeah, yes. But
Yeah.
some people are so emotional. Rather than talking, even if they open their mouth to want to talk, they start crying.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
you've
I
given that
don't
person
blame
that
them.
opportunity to
But
be
I
to
don't blame
face you.
them. I don't blame them though,
I'm not
because
blaming them, Liar and Wanty. I'm just saying there's no point giving the enemy, unless the other person is the enemy now, the opportunity to ride over you. Don't give them that pleasure, to be honest.
I
It's not
think
worth
I think it's just natural that water start flowing. It's just like somebody who's been to prison before,
it.
you know, and everybody keeps saying, Eleven, no, no. Everybody
Mm.
keeps, just saying it. And then it's just like, one day he would just get out of it and just like, excuse me. Yeah, I have been there. I've been through it and I'm trying to deal with my situation. Why don't you just
yeah.
get off my back? And
Then
it would take a
me.
very brave man not to look back and say, look, let me educate you. No, at that point, all he wants to do is back off, or you see. But some people don't listen. One back off, no. 2, 3 back off, and then he gets a knife and stab them, and then he goes back to prison. I'm telling you from experience what I know. This
I know.
guy, yeah, being a
I'm not
prisoner.
disputing it at all. I know.
I'm just saying, just just remember this guy, that I've nursed before, and the reason why he went to prison the second time was because people were stigmatizing him, and they wouldn't just get off his back, and he had to stab one of them. He went back again to prison.
Yeah, and that's a warning to people that stigmatize. You could get you get the wrong person someday, and then you have to face the consequences.
That's
All right, so
all.
let's talk about the one I don't understand is stigmatization by association or associative stigmatization when because maybe let me use the negative. Okay,
Let
before I
me use
say that,
let me use hush puppy. Because of hush puppy, they've stigmatized all Nigerians.
something like that.
Not
So
just him, but anyway.
Just an
yeah,
example.
yeah, that's a good one too. But because somebody is a robber and it comes from a certain place, and everybody that comes from that place is now stigmatized to be like that person. Or worse still, when your siblings, maybe your mother's child has done something wrong, or not sometimes not too wrong, because they have mental health issue, and then you want to go and marry somebody, and the person's mother may say, why are you going to marry that family? Hey, they're all people with mental health issues, and
Yeah.
that is so unfair. how,
It's
how do you even start dealing with that?
I would just want to tell you, I'm from a place in Nigeria where is Ondo State, and people just as soon as they say, "Oh, yeah, you're from Ondo. Oh, do you eat dog? Hello, we do
Although
not
we eat dog now, we are from Ondo now, we
we
eat
do
dog.
not eat dog. We use them
You
for
should too, Auntie Rossi.
we don't eat dog.
You the dog for us.
See, you're all stigmatizing me now. You want me to be happy and smile. So that is it. We do
Just
not
joking.
eat dog. I'm emphasizing it to the whole world. Ondo do not eat dog. We use it for a festival called Ogun Festival. So we don't eat dog. So anybody use that, that's it. Ondo, you eat dog, this and that. It's just like Calabar girls. They're like, oh, they're sexually active. Wow, you can't beat
And they
them.
snatch people's husband, they say that two of
Exactly.
them.
Why would people say that? People just stigmatize you with some.
This world.
Okay,
I
now
know.
can I ask you, Layo,
Mm.
is it okay to stigmatize somebody that has done something very wrong and deliberately doing it wrongly? Like maybe somebody becomes a robber, armed robber, or kidnapper, let's say kidnapper. So is it okay to stigmatize that person? Anything that, oh, you said that kidnapper, because we know what he has done is evil. So is it okay for us to stand and stigmatize that person, even though they deliberately did it and it's wrong? Is it
Right.
okay?
So are you saying, let me just be clear on what you're saying.
Mm.
So this is their past. Is it okay to stigmatize them every time you see them?
Yeah, as a
No.
punishment for what they are doing wrong.
No, because everybody has a past. It's just the ones that we see. There's so many people we don't know of their past, and theirs is even worse than the guy who steals and they caught him, and
What if they
nobody.
are still doing it? What if they are still doing
If
that
they're still
act?
doing it, then clearly they have a problem. And really, who are you to regardless? If you have never seen Cast the First Stone, there's some people who are committing the same sin over and over and over again. And it's not because they don't want to let go, it's because of how they were introduced into that sin to start with. And it's a struggle for them to come out. They need deliverance, pretty much. And so, really, nobody should be stigmatizing everybody. Everybody has their own.
Supposing somebody snatches your husband and you run to that person on the street. So would you stigmatize that person and say her husband snatched her? How would you
The
describe
lady
her to
who
your
took
friend?
my husband,
Obviously,
innit?
No, the
obviously,
person that snatched your husband.
obviously, let's be honest. I will tell my friend, do you know that woman going? She was the one that attempted to snatch my husband.
Exactly.
I mean, stigma is when you see that person, that's all you see constantly. And then the
I
other
guess,
one
yeah,
is when you see that person, you don't always see that. You have not defined that person by their character or the things they've been through. They don't all constantly remind you, oh, that's the woman whose husband died. Oh, no, 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 no. They don't remind you of that all the time when you see them. There's a fine line between stigma and just,
Calling
seeing
it.
them
Okay, but
come,
Liar,
reminding.
do you think parents can stigmatize their own children?
Yeah, parents can stigmatize their children because one, they have a favorite in the house, yeah? And they're constantly going back and forth and saying, your younger sister doesn't do this, you're always doing this, why are you always getting in trouble, you're always the one. every time. So every time they see that child, they see trouble. They've defined that child, they've added stigma to it, and they've put it in the pot and put the lid on it. And it'd be very difficult for them to wipe that stigma away from their eye. So yeah, parents can't stigmatize children, and unfortunately, it's very, very bad.
To be honest, I don't think we should stigmatize people.
Yes.
No,
But
people need to be educated.
We
it's human
disagree with
nature.
stigmatization.
We should
Yeah.
try to control ourselves. But
Yeah.
you really, I don't mind stigmatizing people that kidnap people or pedophiles and all that, except they have changed from their ways.
But you would not know. That's the thing. How would you know they've changed?
If it's done in the past, but if they are still doing it, you just be like, why are you still doing this? You're this pedophile.
Can I say something now? If you keep discriminating, your neighbor is a pedophile and you got to know, and you keep not discriminating, you keep stigmatizing them. But when they pass, you call them, oh, pedophile.
Pedophile.
You give them a look from the corner, pedophile. You know, gradually it's going to slip into discrimination and you will get in trouble for it.
Well, God help us because we are just humans. But
Yeah,
whatever it is, I think just try to be good to somebody. If you don't
yeah.
do wrong things, but when it comes to natural things like my race, where I come from, things I cannot control, I don't think you should ever discriminate anybody about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like diseases
No.
like COVID, all those things, you cannot control. You shouldn't at all
Now,
discriminate anybody. Yeah,
COVID, people get discriminated.
I
I mean,
know.
get stigmatized for it, the way they treat them, and that stigmatization often falls into racism as well, and falls into discrimination. The way, and we've heard about it, Black people are more likely to get affected and die from it, not affected, die from it. The way some Black patients are being treated when they go in to report and that they have symptoms is quite different from the way a white person is treated. So that right there is the stigma, yeah, that is on Black people, and also then it falls into discrimination.
Well, what about black to black? You know your sister has got COVID, and you decide not to even knock on the door and say, "Look, this is pepper soup at the door. Pick it up." What about that? Oh, I can't come to your house, because of this thing. I can't come because of that. It's still
Yeah.
stigmatization, and it's not fair.
But
It's not
let me
even my
ask you,
fault.
ladies, to be honest, let's be fair with ourselves. If you know somebody had COVID,
I
would you
have
go?
gone to
Would you?
see people. I
Uh,
have.
would
I
you go
did
and
went to see
visit them?
people. It's because they will not let me come in. They asked me to, but I said, no, let us just see. They said no. And the person had to knock the door and say, look, auntie, I understand them. Don't worry about it and just drop what you brought. I was ready to go there with my mask and everything. But
Yes,
they didn't want me
exactly.
to
So,
go.
but some people will still feel bad that you're coming to my house wearing all these gadgets. Why?
Of course,
Naturally, you just be like,
because we know
why?
what is on ground. You can't go in, somebody has got it. You want to see them and then you want to put yourself at risk. No. But for the love of you thinking about them, wanting to go there and wearing all your PPEs doesn't mean that you're wearing gadgets. You're protecting yourself and you're trying that you don't spread it around to other people. It's the love that I have that I had to want to go there and see them. I'm not supposed to go there in the first place, but I just
Right,
thought,
but
no, it's
then
not
you
fair.
see with COVID, yeah, why I'm so shocked because we should look at COVID like we look at any other disease, like malaria fever. Somebody has malaria fever, you still go and visit them. You won't discriminate against them. You won't stigmatize them. Oh, that house they have that thing. You feel for them. Is it because of the contagious nature of COVID that people are being stigmatized for COVID?
I think it's because of the high risk. It's got a very,
Yeah.
very high risk, and people need to take precautions. To be honest, let's not just. COVID is something. It's just like that somebody has got AIDS. You want to put their plates and spoons and everything on the side because you don't want to mix it up. So it's just that we know right now that I mean the coronavirus is something very, very of highest. If there's anything above highest risk, so we need to take precautions and don't just put ourselves at risk at it. So God forbid if I have it, I'm sure the two of you will not come to my door.
Lion will not even let
I
us come
think,
to our house because
I
she
think,
thinks we might have it.
Yes, even Layo, I'm
oh
children
my
of everybody
days,
that will run
I
away.
can't believe you just said that. That's not true. You have
No,
not said you wanted to come and visit me. Hello?
Lion has just
no,
shut us out during this period up till now. I was asking
No
her, can we
way. Fala,
come?
you're speaking
She
for
said
yourself.
no.
That's fine. Sometimes people will say, they will hold their hands up and say the things they're doing. I say, well, isn't that what they say?
All right. Okay, now we just have to finish now. I think our time is up. So as we're rounding up, what do you want to say? I mean, generally, Laya, what do you want to say to people about stigmatization?
I'm going to refer to a part in the Bible because I'm a child of God. So the
Ooh.
Bible talks about loving your neighbor as yourself. For me, that does not mean going and give your neighbor food when they have COVID. No. For me, it means if your neighbor has COVID, close your eyes for a second and imagine that was you in your neighbor's shoes. How do you want the world to treat you? If you don't want people to be nasty to you, if you don't want people to stigmatize you or to hate you or to discriminate against you, you don't want none of that, then you take that same mindset and then you treat your neighbor the same way you want to be treated. That's it.
Thank you. Ronti, what have you got to say?
Well, I just want to say to all those who has been stigmatized, shout out to you. We love you. Our minds are with you. Don't keep it to yourself. Please tell somebody about it. And all I just want to buttress and just say is, don't stigmatize me. Love the beauty in me. Thank you.
I love that. All right. And for me, what I want to say is don't stigmatize as much as you can. Do not stigmatize people, especially for things that is beyond their control. And secondly, if somebody tries to stigmatize you, well, they are not deserving of your friendship. Just walk away from them because you are better than them. At this point, we have to say goodbye to all of you lovely people. Keep watching us and don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you. Share the video. Share, share,
Bye.
share. Goodbye.
Bye. I'm looking for